his bucket this time.
Okay guys, as I told you in our previous video that I would show you how we're amending the soil that we had brought to the property here. The soil that we had brought here already has some little pieces of wood and sticks and stuff like that in it. And what I've done is, this was the 25-year-old cow manure that we took out of the old barn up here on the property and piled it up outside. What I'm doing is cleaning up all that old manure, bringing it down here, mixing it in with this soil, because we tested it in our previous videos in the pots over here and it proved to not be contaminated with anything. So we're going to continue to mix it in and amend it with this soil before we actually start with our leaves and running them through the shredder and grinding them up and mixing it in with it, so that we have a more uniform soil mixture. And then we'll be amending other things in it once we get it over to the Vago raised beds. Okay, we've run the leaf mulcher for just a little while. What I'm going to do is, rather than all the leaf mold and stuff like that being piled up right here in one spot, I'm going to go get my tractor now. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab this and mix this a little bit right here on this end. And then we're going to take a bucket of it and take it over to the raised beds, and we're going to go ahead and start amending one of the raised beds. This is what we're ending up with out of that. Look at this. That's just pure, a lot of this is leaf mold and just chopped up leaves and a little bit of sand and gravel and stuff in it. It's fantastic. I mean, this is really good stuff right here. And we're going to mix it in with that soil. It's going to really be good. I mean, that you can't get much better than that right there.
That's some good dirt, Papa.
That's some good dirt right there now.
One bucket covered half of it, so 2 buckets is going to come close.
Yeah, it's going to come pretty close. It's of course, we still got some amending to do. Yeah. It ain't gonna quite get half of it. It's gonna take 3 buckets.
Yeah, and it'll settle.
Yeah, and then it's gonna settle. Okay guys, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start layering this with cardboard. Kind of help out a little bit. We got cardboard everywhere. We're gonna put us a layer right down through the middle of this. Okay, now we're going to add more dirt on top of this. Okay guys, we got a few things here we're going to go ahead and amend the soil with. First, because of all the leaves and this just being good topsoil, it's probably got in the South Mississippi, it's probably got a 5.5. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to lime it. And then, because our soil down here has a tendency to be a little bit sandy, it dries out faster. So I have some vermiculite to put in it to hold the moisture. I have a little bit of organic phosphorus left to put in it. I have some perlite to keep the soil loose from getting too packy from the leaves and all in it. And then I have some calcium nitrate. The calcium is to help with the blooming of the, or whatever goes on in the plants that we need to use it for. The nitrate is going to be such a small quantity, but the plants really need the initial nitrate to get them up and get them popping a little bit. And then nitrate or nitrogen usually don't last but just a few days anyway. Up to less than 30 days it's over and gone, especially in the granular form. So that's what we're going to amend with right now. And then later on, once we get them all filled, we're going to come back and we're going to take a soil test through Grower Solutions soil test kit. And we're going to see how close we come on this, because over at Deepsouth, I still have some rabbit poop left to bring to put in here and mix in with this. That will go into it also. When we've done that in our containers up here, our soil had a nutrient density of 86%. And I've done this almost the same way, except I've added a little bit more stuff like the calcium nitrate and the vermiculite. So we're going to see how it goes in these bigger raised beds that we got from Bigo. This is just Dolomite lime. That's all this is. Not a chemical. Just something to sweeten the soil up a little bit. And you might think that looks like a lot, but in the Deepsouth here, my soil test at Pecan Grove says 2 tons per acre. So, of Dolomite lime. That is, that's a lot of lime. So, and it advised adding half 1 year and then half the second year, and then it would be good for a 3-year period. Okay, now we're going to put this, we have a little bit of organic phosphorus here. The reason we're using this, and I know there's a lot of sticks and leaves in here and a lot of phosphorus comes from that. And a lot of you probably going to tune off right now when I say what I'm fixing to say. You're going to go, oh my word, here we go again. But studies have shown that because of the aluminum that's being sprayed into our atmosphere, our plants are not taking up any phosphorus. The phosphorus is being bound up in the soil where the plants cannot take it up. I usually do it in liquid form, but I put this down as a base form. If it wasn't so, Monsanto would not be creating an aluminum resistant seed that will take up the phosphorus. So that's why I do it. Now I will come back later and use liquid phosphorus just to be sure my plants actually get what they need. Now we're going to see if we can get a little bit of this calcium nitrate. Now it doesn't take a whole lot of calcium nitrate, because nitrogen is a pretty powerful thing. This bag right here will probably do several beds if it was full. But actually I've used off of this bag now for, I don't know, probably 2 years I've used off this bag. I mainly use this right here, calcium nitrate, for my onions when I'm growing big bulb onions. I have videos showing me punching a hole right down beside the onions and pouring a little few of that in my hand right down beside it, because onions are very heavy nitrogen feeders. All right, now I can get my old pocket knife out. All right. Now, vermiculite is one of them things that helps the soil to maintain its moisture. You don't want to overdo it because then the soil will be too soggy. So I'm not going to overdo it. You got to realize now we're going to be turning this in. Plus we're going to be adding more soil. There should be enough in one of these to do close to 3 containers, or at least 2 containers, maybe 3. And this is our perlite, which will help to keep it from ever getting compacted. All right, now
comes the fun part.
Yeah.
You don't have to flip it much because you're adding more dirt on top.
Yeah, I don't have to flip it much. Just a little bit, just to kind of help amend it a little bit right here. Because technically, when I plant in the top layer, what happens is you you dig down into the soil to put your plant in, and your roots are actually at this level. The top part of it is just the dirt you pack back around it. That's where your little feeder roots will come out. This is where they're going to feed from the most, and once I get a chance to go to town, I'm going to actually be coming back. I'm going to purchase several containers of red worms, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to dump them in each one of these containers once we get them full. Thus, that's why we put the cardboard down in the bottom, because they love to feed on cardboard. They love to eat the sand. They need sand for the crawl, which is sand in this. They love to just burrow around through the leaves and eat on them. And what's happening is it's going to create worm compost in here everywhere. We've tried this now for several years, and it works fantastic. So we're looking forward to these beds doing the same exact thing.
How is this going to do with that much leaves being on top?
Plant the seeds.
That's right, not in this one.
Well, guys, we have got our rabbit poop now. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to take this and we're going to amend it into the top layer of the soil, because rabbit poop is a non-burning fertilizer. Now the wind's blowing. I hope it's not messing up with us too bad. But it's just that time of the year. We're going to spread this out over this. This is kind of like sawdust. The more I dig, it seems like it just keeps fluffing up. All right, maybe a little bit right here. You can't overdo it with rabbit poop. So we've got a pretty good cover on the bed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to turn this under just a little bit right here. Then we'll rake it all back down, and we will be ready to put our plants in here. Good hole dug right here all the way down to the second that we did.
And yes, we bought plants.
Yes, we did. We was in town and they had them, and with Wanda's condition, cauliflower was one of the things that she really needed. So we decided while we were there, we saw them and we said, well, we're just going to get them, because we don't really have time. Well, we do have time, but we figure we'll get the jump on it by starting a few from the store. Well, and two, this is all experimental. Now we're going to be staggering these because cauliflower gets so large that we're going to be staggering them so we can be sure we get them all in there. Now, I can't tell you what kind of cauliflower it is because I don't know. All right. Now.
Your thoughts was working.
Looks like it's going to work out.
And cauliflower's a cold crop. It works in the cool weather, and we've got cool weather for now.
And we're going to have cold weather. We call it cold for the deep south. We're going to be in the mid-30s till the middle of March, they said. So this will be really good growing for this.
That's nighttime temps.
Yeah, nighttime. The daytime temps will be up around in the 50s and 60s. Because of the deer pressure here, we do have some row cover that we can place over this. In case we get a hard frost or something like that, we can cover it.
Probably will be covering it because deer might be here tonight.
Our deer are so, I don't know, they're almost like pets in a lot of ways.
So we've got to protect it tonight because we don't have the sides up and the ends up and all. We're jumping the gun.
Yeah, this is, we're just, well, what we saw when we looked at the extended long-range forecast was really cold. We call it cold for the deep south, mid-30s for the morning temps till mid-March, and then after that we jump up into the mid-70s for about 3 weeks, and then we go back into the high 80s and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that that's 100% accurate, but last year it was exactly the same thing. They say we're going into a drought this year with extreme heats again because we're going back into a La Nina season. Hurricane season is going to be above active, they said. So we're just trying to get the gun on all this, and hopefully a lot of y'all are going to ask if the weather proves true, what we've been told, we will plant Danny corn the beginning of the second week of March based on the weather that we have gotten already. Now we'll keep an eye on it. If it changes, we'll tell you, but as of right now, that is our plans. If the weather permits where we can get the field ready, we will plant the beginning of the second week in March. So, well, this is how we amended our first Vigo bed, and this is our first plants to put in it. We will see how they do. Now I do have some fireplace ashes that I'm probably going to come in here right ahead of a rain or something like that. I'll come in here and just lightly sprinkle them like this right here, around through here in a snake-like pattern. Not putting a lot, but because I don't want to raise the pH too high, because fireplace ashes will do that. Not only add potash, but it will also raise the pH of the soil. So we will put a little bit of that in here. I'm not going to do it right now because it'll just lay on the top of the soil here. I'd rather do it right ahead of a rain. Now I'm not going to water this in because the soil is very damp and it's already a little cold. So it's going to be a little bit of a shock for these plants to be put in cold soil. So I would rather not make it any more of a shock than what it already is. So.
And we are covering them for tonight.
Yeah, I got to go find something to cover them with and put up over it to cover them with. I may have to go cut some wire or something like that to put over it. But other than that, guys, that is how we do it at Pecan Grove.